Hi again, everybody. Dave Stevens, board member at All Wheels Up, and I'm at the Microsoft headquarters here in Redmond, Washington. They were the host of our 6th annual Know Before You Go 2025 All Wheels Up Global Forum on Accessible Air Travel. It was a 2-day event that had some of the heads from airlines, we had executives, we had designers, and we had those in the disabled community coming together at this summit to talk about the future of accessible air travel.
This year marks a significant milestone, not only because of the strides we have made together, but also how All Wheels Up defines our mission. None of this progress would be possible without the energy and involvement of all stakeholders. Each of you plays a vital role, whether you are an advocate or industry.
What I want to do is give you a quick sense of why. Why does this matter to us? And hopefully give you also a bit of a sense and some tools that may help you in the next few days. Does that work? Are you coffeed? That is important here. I like tea. You may get from the accent I was accused of being not British the other day, but I am very British, and I'll give you also a quick sense of why my journey in this. But accessibility is a small but incredibly mighty discipline. The estimates around 2021 says that there's 12,000 accessibility experts across the states. It's likely around that number. We've seen it go up and down. We all lean into one basic principle: innovating through the lens of disability.
In 2024, if you took the 12 largest U.S. airlines and combined their value, it would take 430 times those airlines to equal the value of Microsoft.
Why is Microsoft involved in All Wheels Up? Well, there's a few reasons. One, we really believe that all the learning we've created and taken over the years in building accessible technology could help in accelerating the journey of building accessible plane travel. And secondly, well, we think that this is a solvable challenge. And by bringing innovation to the front, we think that we can help make a difference, not just for all of our customers, but all of our employees. We also travel, and we have many people here with disabilities who use wheelchairs.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bill Nixon. I'm here to represent Secure Ride.
Hello, I'm Rory Cooper with the University of Pittsburgh.
Our job is to develop safety national legislation or regulations supporting the safe transport of hazardous materials and commerce.
Hey, my name is Jack Kavanagh, and I'm here with the Aerofix project from Ireland.
Stephanie Cadu, Chief Accessibility Officer for the Government of Canada.
Hello, my name is Ines Pong. I represent the Faculty of Architecture from Lisbon.
Hans Gieser from Airbus in Germany.
Hi, my name is Stefan Merz. I'm from Ricao Aircraft Seating from Germany.
Hello, I'm Tetsuo Yasuo from Japan Aerospace Expression Agency. I'm from Japan.
Xavier Bascade from British Airways from the UK.
Hello, my name is Luis Gomez. I'm from Wichita State University National Institute for Aviation Research. I'm originally from Spain.
Hello, my name is Shiva. I'm from the University of Pittsburgh at the Human Engineering Research Lab in the United States, but originally I'm from the United Kingdom.
I'm Chris Wood. I'm from the United Kingdom. I have a company called Flying Disabled, and I am essentially trying to make air travel for everybody.
Also, I am deaf. I lost all of my hearing when I was 5 months old. I have spinal meningitis. So when I travel, I definitely experience a lot of barriers, and I travel quite a bit for work all times of year.
So I was introduced to Michelle through Rylan Rogers from Microsoft. She is a policy advisor for Microsoft. Rylan and I work together on the Accessible Travel Task Force. Not only do I talk about what we're doing at Salesforce, but I try to amplify as much awareness about people with disabilities as much as possible. I talk about things like disability statistics, but I also talk about how disability is the only class that any one of us can join at any time. So if you're creating environments that are not accessible, imagine that you become disabled at some point, and the very environment that you create is now inaccessible to you.
Southwest is going to undergo major changes, as you all know from the news. How is Southwest injecting accessibility into those changes, whether from a safety perspective, whether from a commercial or operational perspective? because the driver actually for those changes isn't accessibility, it's not safety. It's an entirely commercial driver. So how are you concerning accessibility?
Absolutely, thank you, Graham. If you haven't heard, Southwest is changing a few things over the course of the next few months. Whether you like those changes or not, what my team saw these changes as was an opportunity to inject accessibility more into our operation, more into our policies than we currently have.
So PVA has been involved in improving access to air travel for a very long time. And one of the issues that is really part of what the future folks want is to be able to stay in their wheelchair when they fly. And Michelle's vision for creating an organization that was really focused on moving that conversation forward, we felt just really fit with our mission and was something we wanted to be a part of.
So we've been sent by our school, Faculty of Architecture of Lisbon, and by our professor to present projects that we developed in class. And what was our main takeaways from this?
Yeah, I think it will be really great for them, for my colleagues, because what I gain with this experience in this conference, there is a lot of perspectives, a lot of work with engineers and with a lot of people, and I think it's good to communicate, to make networking, and I think it will really be great for them.
We discussed some of the aisle chairs and how the ones with the padding, as long as they're a little more modern and the straps are in good condition, are more okay, but the ones that are hard plastic certainly are not the most comfortable to utilize.
I know that I need to do my research on what plane I'm going to be flying, what the cargo door height is, how I'm going to have to break out my chair. And yeah, so that starts just the very beginning process. And there's been a lot of good progress.
I think accessibility is paramount right now. It's really in vogue as far as conversations go, and it's just exciting to see the progress that we're making right now. And I've been having lots of conversations, and we realize that this is something that's going to happen. It's not about a matter of if, it's when, and just really excited to be a part of it.
Anything around accessibility, and especially what Michelle has done with All Wheels Up over the years, has grown into something which is, it's a bit of a cliche, it's one for the calendar every year, but I think what's grown is the variation of stakeholders that are now attending, not just airlines. I just sat next to a guy from the automotive industry. They're here, because they're here to learn. So there's a lot of stakeholders, and they're all coming to the table now.
Transformation is huge. We've heard a lot during the last couple of days about things that we've been doing in the past that may not necessarily serve us so well in the future. And that's not easy. It's not easy to enact and create change.
Essentially, with this panel, trying to learn about what is going on around the world in terms of policy development around not only wheelchairs in the cabin, but just generally accessibility in aviation for disabled travelers. I had a great prop earlier today. My chair got damaged yesterday, and the armrest was dangling on the floor, but it's been fixed. So thankfully, I wanted to use that as an example of why this is so important, because disabled travelers are experiencing barriers, from ticketing to check-in to traveling on board and arrival as well. So, it's important to trace the policies that are being enacted around the world to try to
here, and what All Wheels Up is truly doing is systems thinking. So clearly, one part of what All Wheels Up is focusing on, and for many years maybe it seemed like it was the only thing, is people in a wheelchair in the cabin of a commercial airplane. And that is clearly something very important, and that is what All Wheels Up stands for, as a very important element. But what we're working on now clearly is a larger system. So when we really think about what we're zeroing in on today with the journey mapping and looking at all the steps leading up to getting into an airplane, and then when you get off the airplane and how you get out of the airport and get back to your final destination, we're looking at that as a larger system.
Because if you're born Japanese, if you're born in Portugal, that is your nationality. You know, they lump us in as disabled or handicapped, and they just throw us all together and say that's what you are, but we are all individuals. We are not like that. And you can join our world at any given moment. To your point, you can become disabled. So it's really important, as we have the health and medical things to let us live longer. We're going to age. My shoulders are breaking down. I'm going to need a chair like these eventually sometime because I can't walk on my arms. But the preparation for travel, especially, that goes into it, you know, I can't have my coffee in the morning if I'm going to fly because I can't use those they're not accessible bathrooms. I can't crawl and get on a toilet and do.
Yeah, you know, I got to give a shout out to Michelle because, you know, when I had chairs destroyed 8 years ago, it was a very powerless feeling. And yeah, you know, I didn't get into the details, but when I landed in Newark and didn't see my chair for another 5 days after we landed, I spent 5 days with my wife trying a hand control chair around, and then we got my chair back for about a day, and we rode the train from New York to Philadelphia and heard sparks underneath my wheelchair, and so I laid on an Amtrak bench for 6 hours waiting for somebody to bring me a wheelchair. And you know, the photo looks great. It looks like I'm like starting to train to quadriplegic planking on a park, but that's not, you know, the way to get things done. And so, you know, to be in that situation and now to see where we are today, you know, we got a long ways to go, but it is this is tremendous progress from where we all were 8 years ago when I first entered the conversations.
It was a group of friends doing a road trip. You know, it was great. And we flew from San Francisco to Vancouver, and Vancouver, we had like a 5-flight trip home because it was 200 quid cheaper. We definitely spent 250 on food on the way. But I remember arriving in Vancouver, and this is something that has happened in many different places, but I was waiting for about half an hour with my friends on the plane, and next thing it was announced that the assistant staff have arrived, and I was sort of looking around and saying, okay, when will they get here? And next thing I saw, just sort of light hair bobbing along in the distance and flashes of high vis, but no bodies attached. And next thing, these two very, very slight Asian women appeared beside me, and you know, physics sometimes needs to be taken into account when you're handling people, and it certainly wasn't in this case. The ladies looked at me and I looked at them, and my friends fell on the floor laughing because there's just no way that they could potentially have even assisted me. And you know, this was, had my friends not been there, you know, they ended up picking me up and carrying me off the plane. But had they not been there, the reality is that 3 people get injured in that scenario.
The reason this conference is important is it brings together people from around the world who are working on shared missions but with different perspectives, from different areas of the industry, different regulatory jurisdictions. And importantly, what we see from this is that there's a diversity of needs that is very difficult to solve with just one product. So the challenges are many and very real, and it is taking the collaboration of a lot of people with a similar approach, not like-minded, but in the one room in a condensed way to really get to the bottom of some constructive outcomes. And I think that's where we need to move next. It's, you know, constructive outcomes and how do we put them to operation.
Well, Michelle, I think they just get bigger and better. And the international flavor this year, I mean, wow.
you got to be happy with what happened this week.
Absolutely. It's been an incredible event. The turnout is absolutely amazing. Like you said, the international turnout is really impressive, and it really does solidify the title of this event, which is the Global Forum, and we're really excited.
Now, when we started here, the endeavor was to get a plane to have a electric wheelchair on it. It seems like it has now grown into so much bigger that they're looking at all the other aspects of travel, which is important because you got to get the chair on, but what you have to go through to get there has always been a problem. But all these people, the engineers, the airline representatives, it's just been amazing to see them come together.
Absolutely. It's been an incredible journey, and we have done an incredible job about opening up the conversation for a wheelchair spot on airplanes. And as we've grown and learned that, it's going to take a lot more than just the engineering side to make that happen. We need to look at the journey mapping and all of the other things that are going to need to take place to make that happen. And so we changed the name of the All Wheels Up Global Forum for Wheelchair Accessible Air Travel to dropping wheelchair and just making it the Global Forum on Accessible Air Travel. We want to make sure that we're covering all the needs for accessible air travel and opening it up to other disabilities.
You've been working at this for so many years, and a lot of love and sweat and extra time away from the family. One, has it been worth it? And two, are you where you wanted to be at this point?
We are so much further than I actually thought we'd ever be by now. I know it's 15 years. People say, oh gosh, that's a really long time. But when you're talking about aviation and air travel, you have to be patient, and we are so much further along, and I couldn't be prouder of where we are.
Well, it's a great effort. I'm so excited to be a part of it. For people that don't know, what's the future for All Wheels Up?
Yeah, All Wheels Up, just like the aviation industry and accessible air travel, we're growing, we're expanding, and we have expanded our Fly Safe Today program. And, we want to make sure that the disability community is getting educated on the resources that are available to them when traveling. There are a lot of great resources. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's programs that already exist, like TSA Cares and Sunflower Lanyards, and there's products out there and resources that are available, which are on our website, that we're going to, share out with the community. And we're going to start opening up webinars to the community and traveling to rehab centers and giving the community the education they need to fly safe today, hence the title of the program, while we work to improve the future.
All right. Well, thanks for doing it. I'm looking forward to next year, wherever we're going to be. For more information, if you know somebody with a disability that doesn't travel well, go to allwheelsup.org. Help out Michelle and everyone that is a part of this organization. Michelle, great job once again.
Awesome. Thanks,
Dave. All right.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us, and have a pleasant day.